Good morning, and I'd like to start with thanking Fergal for inviting me to speak at the Resurgence 25X for the Planet. We're all moving out of a global pandemic. We're all moving away from the fears of COVID-19, I suppose. We're trying to get back to some sort of a normality. But at the same time, there's a new attraction, a new hot topic that's on the news reports, that's on the media, and it's climate change, it's global warming, and it's the planet. It's our effect on the planet, and it's a very real thing. In August 2021, the IPCC released a report, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen the media and their portrayal of this report, and to say the least, it's quite negative. That if we don't take immediate action, we won't see our climate stay the way it is. It will dilapidate and we'll have more difficulties. So I suppose my first idea is, and it's what I believe a lot of us have managed to get from COVID-19, is time to be able to reflect. It's time to be able to think. And my first idea is to think. I think it's very important that we spend some time to really reflect on what's about to happen and what's going on, and as individuals, what our impact is, and what the global situation is. The media, and I suppose you can check through, there's videos countless about floodplains changing and global weather systems, and it's a very real thing. And if COVID-19 hasn't done anything positive, negative for us, what it's done positively is it's allowed us to be able to see that we can adapt and we can deal with these challenges. And I think that's something that we need to do. We need to stop, we need to think, we need to look at our impact, and we need to move forward from this. My next idea is action, of course, which is the next part of it. And what can we do? Okay, it's not all negativity. And when we talk about climate change, we talk about global warming, we talk about carbon emissions and carbon dioxide emissions in particularly, and transport is one of the biggest causes of that. And us as humans and our impact on the environment and our use of fossil fuels. So what does that all mean? Well, firstly, I think we can all safely say that fossil fuels themselves aren't evil or harmful. It's our overconsumption of fossil fuels that's caused this problem. So when we talk about transport, it's not transport itself, it's our use of transport. And I suppose we could think about whether or not the idea is to completely scrap and demolish all the cars that are on the road or replace them with a reduced solution of electric cars. Is that the right way forward, or is it reduce? So I think as individuals, we can take an immediate action to walk more, cycle more, take more public transportation, and that's an effect that we can have. And it is very true that individuals, communities, societies can make a change, and we need to take that action. Another big thing is decarbonization, which is taking the carbon that's now got into the atmosphere, out of the atmosphere. And there's a whole host of technologies that are out there that look at that. But the simplest way to decarbonize our environment is to plant more plants. It's as simple as that. And natural rewilding is something that the environment and the planet will do for us as long as we encourage it to do. And that is, without a doubt, the best way to take carbon dioxide from our atmosphere and take any other harmful gases that are in our atmosphere. So I think there are two actions that we can take away immediately. We should be aware of what our impact is, and we should take immediate action with transport and rewilding. And also, I suppose there is a change for us to be able to buy online. And there's positives and negatives behind that. But what we buy online, what's needed? Do we need that new jacket, or should we invest in a jacket that may be slightly more expensive and that will last longer and that we don't have to put into the bin as quickly? And this idea of throwaway clothes, throwaway mobile phones, throwaway items, we should invest in longer term products. And that rolls on to my next idea, which is disruption. So what's disruption? So I suppose that's that idea that I mentioned there. Disruption is going away from what the norm is. If the norm is that we do drive our car everywhere, the disruption is walking more, cycling more, taking public transportation. The disruption is encouraging rewilding. The disruption is to be very conscious about what we procure, what we buy, what we invest our time, what we invest our money in. And instead of willy-nilly spending money into items that will end up being in a landfill, we should be aware that we should spend our money and invest in things that will add value and will be around for a while. So we're not overly using the natural resources that we have. As a company ourselves, we've looked at disruption like this, and I suppose on my personal side and the AHAON and the team's side in general, we looked at that, have a think about what's happening, and we work in the energy industry quite a bit, and we look to see what is going to allow this change to a new generation, to allow the renewable fossil fuels to be moved out and the renewables to be brought in. And energy storage is definitely a very important part there. And the action that we took is we decided that we wanted to find a technology that wasn't going to need precious metals or toxic components. We wanted to really study and find out something, and that's where we have taken our technology, which we believe is a disruptive technology, and it's the cryogenic energy storage solution, which will allow us to be able to have a way of storing energy in a cost-effective manner for grid operators, owners, power generation companies. But instead of using huge amounts of mined minerals like lithium ion, cobalt, and items like that, we're looking at a technology by the means of cryogenics to liquefy large quantities of air in a process that we have refined. And that's our disruption. And that has come from COVID-19. That's given us the time to think about it, take an action, and then disrupt the market that's out there, to try and think about how we can move away from ideas. And that moves on to my next topic, which is build. Because after we've thought about what the problems are, and after we've actioned on them, and after we've taken those actions are disruptive, so they're looking for a new future, we need to build on them. We need to make sure that they're cemented into our lives. We need to try and make sure that we've taken all we've known and we grow and we move forward and we build on them. And that leads into what we've done as a team ourselves here at AHAON. And we're building on that by trying to construct the first pilot project here in the southeast of Ireland of a cryogenic energy storage solution to really bring a technology to the southeast of Ireland that is impactful at the moment, that is needed for climate change, and it solves so many of our problems in a thoughtful way. And the construction of that will be so important for the economy, for the environment, for society. And I think a lot of this for us has come from that a little bit of isolation, home working from COVID-19, and then we're moving away from that, and we're building and building on that. And then it leads on to my last point, which is to move and to make sure that our movements are in one direction. It's forward. It's in a positive manner. It's after the pilot project is completed, it's to move into mass production. It's to move into the wider market. It's to move and bring this technology globally. It's to really make sure that the intelligence and the skills that we have here in the southeast and in Ireland in general are used to try and better the issues that we have out there. And I suppose above all else, what I think COVID-19 and even what we're faced with now with climate change is that humans are very resilient. Humans can, without a shadow of a doubt, adapt to the situations they're faced with, and there is always a solution. But we do need to invest in the correct solution, and we do need to spend the time and realize that sometimes the simplest solution, walking instead of driving, rewilding your garden instead of putting paving down, or maybe not pressing the button on Amazon quite as much. We can take action, we can adapt, and there will definitely be a positive future for us. And I suppose that's what my thoughts are about planet and the advantages that we have taken from what was a very tough time for all of us. Thank you.